Good morning all, or afternoon, whenever you're doing this work. Hopefully it's not long until you're back in school and we can see you again before we break up for the summer holidays, which aren't too long away now. So let's have a look at step 5, thousandths as decimals. We did some work on this yesterday and we're going to see the same sorts of activities, maybe just swapping around, so converting perhaps from decimals to fractions rather than fractions to decimals. So let's have a little look. Little introduction activity then. First of all, write the following as a decimal number. So they can see some place value counters. Have a little go. What does that look like as a decimal number? I'll give you 10 seconds. And 3, 2, 1. So don't forget we need our 0 in our ones column. 0 point. How many tenths do we have? We have 3 tenths. How many hundredths? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 hundredths and 2 thousandths. So 0.372. Well done if you got that one correct. In today's activities then, you're going to convert these decimals or similar decimals into thousandths. So thinking about the decimal into a fraction. Now we already have the denominator given to us as thousandths. We then just need to look at our place value columns like yesterday. So remember, when we are looking at our decimals, we have our thousandths column here. And yes, I know that there are 2 thousandths, so the place value of 2 in the thousandths column, but actually altogether I can take this whole number here. So I have 602 thousandths. 602. Thinking about that then, when we have a look at 0.098, here's my thousandths column. I know that I've got an 8 in there, that I've got 8 thousandths, but actually when I look at it, I have 98 thousandths. So the answer to that one is 98 thousandths. And finally, when I look at this decimal here, 0.007, there's my thousandths column. The only digit that I've got in there is a 7. I don't have any other digits in the tenths column or in the hundredths column, so therefore I only have 7 thousandths. So when you're converting from a decimal to a fraction, first of all, just make sure that your denominator says 1,000, because if it said 100, you'd be looking at a different column, and if it said 10, you'd be looking at a different column altogether, wouldn't you? So we are converting into thousandths, so we look in our thousandths column, but also look at the other 2 columns as well. What do we have there? And then write down your answer. You may get a question that looks like this: true or false? 1.073 has 1, 7 tenths and 3 hundredths. Well, let's have a look. Let's label the place value columns. This is all I'm going to do to answer this question. There's my ones, my tenths, my hundredths, my thousandths. So let's have a check. 1.073 has 1. Yep, we've got 1 in the ones column. So I'll give that a tick. 7 tenths. There's my tenths column. It doesn't have 7 tenths. And 3 hundredths. There's my hundredths column. Does it have 3 hundredths? No. So the answer to that one is false. What it does have is 1, 0 tenths, 7 hundredths, and 3 thousandths. So just have a read of a question like that carefully. And it would be handy if you labelled it using the place value columns, and then you'll clearly see whether it's true or false. Here we have a number line, and it says tick the box that shows the correct position of 9.409. So as with any other number line, regardless of whether we have decimals, we need to look at what's happening as we go up. So we have 9.4, 9.405, 9.41. So it's this part here that we need to concentrate on really. So if I've got 9.4 and then I'm going to 9.405, chances are this is going to be 9.40, 9.401, 9.402, 9.403, 9.404, 9.405. So would 9.409 go there? No. If we're counting on in thousandths. 9.405 to 9.406, 9.407, 9.408, 9.409, and then it would be 9.410. Okay. Find the missing digits using the equivalent fractions. So it's quite spaced out, but here, if I just circle the top one, there we have a decimal. Here we have a decimal. Here we have a decimal. What we have to do is look at the fractions. Now this fraction is telling me I've got 85 thousandths. So what digit is going to go here? It's going to be a 5, because that would then show 85 thousandths, 0.085. When we look at the next one, we've got 109 thousandths. So what would go here? A 0, to make it 0.109, 109 thousandths. And finally, what would go here? We've got 57 thousandths. So we've got 57 thousandths. What would I need to put here? It would be a 0. It would be a kind of placeholder in the tenths column. I don't have any other digits to put in, just a 0. So 0.057. So there are your activities for today's lessons. First of all, converting decimals into fractions. Then perhaps a true or false question. Make sure you label place value headings where you need to. Then perhaps a number line asking you to tick where the number should go. Please make sure you think about what's going on and how the scale is moving. Use what's there. And then finally, using the fractions, can you fill in the missing digits to make those decimals correct? Okay, have a good go guys, and I'll speak to you again tomorrow. Bye!